everybody.
Hello.
Good evening, and welcome to Delight and Fright with your host. I am Kat, and the lovely Luna is above me. And tonight we have two very special guests. We have Jakob Belinsky and Emily Dirkholtz, which is creators of Cinefreak Pictures. And we're going to be discussing Compression tonight, their film that is doing amazing in the film circuits for Horror Hound Film Fest 2024. It won 7 of the 11 nominations for judges' best choice in show, best feature, directing, lead performance by Emily, best supporting performance by Kevin, editing, and writing. I think that covers everything, right? Like that's all the movie stuff. Maybe just missing a few here and there.
Most part, yeah.
Yeah. Aw.
So welcome, and we're so happy to have you here.
Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited.
So, Jacob and Emily, how's your week going so far? I know tomorrow's Friday, so happy Friday Eve.
Thank you.
It's
been a really good week for a lot of different reasons.
Good.
So
busy.
Ooh.
Busy's
yes,
good though.
we heard from our friends at Her Vision Film Fest earlier this week, and they asked if they could show Compression, and so tomorrow will be our New York City premiere of Compression. It's happening. What is it? 10 p.m. Eastern,
10 p.m.
as part of the Her Vision Film Festival, and that was like super cool news. Unfortunately we can't travel to be there, but
right. But we're so excited to have it screening there. So we just found that out this week.
I am newly president of the board of a local community theater here in town, and we're returning back to our historic home. We had been away for a couple years from that space, but we were able to return. So that's kind of like local buzz for us, but it has been super cool, and the community's been really rallying around us, and that has been really awesome.
Yeah, and then let's see. Other than that, writing the next movie, and we actually just signed a distribution deal for Compression. So normal week.
Ooh, distribution deal. That sounds so exciting.
Oh yeah, we're super excited. We're with Bayview Films,
Bayview Entertainment,
Bayview Entertainment, and it's a worldwide contract. You know more.
Yeah. We just inked the details. So we'll know more over the next coming months. Right now, we got to get all the deliverables in and everything. So, but it is officially coming. So, yay!
Ooh.
So, good week, busy week.
How about for you two?
Yeah, what have we all been up to?
I traveled last week, so I'm kind of just getting back into the groove of things, the swing of things. I just got back, so on top of returning to work and having to do all that, I always get the worst jet lag, but it's good to be back and good to be able to speak with you guys this evening.
Oh, yeah. Well, I hope the jet lag does not hang out for too long.
Yeah, that's always the worst.
I don't know. It's just the cabin pressure. It just messes with me for like a good 24 hours. So
I always fall asleep on the plane and then wake up when it's going landing, and the pressure is all and I'm ruined for a day or two. So never fun.
So at least you understand that dilemma.
Yeah, I've got my corner of felt, definitely.
What about you, Ken?
Chewing gum, Luna?
I've tried everything. I've tried chewing gum. I tried the ear planes. They're called ear planes. No, did not work.
Oh, well, I've been prepping for Spooky Empire. I've been making goodie bags for everyone that obviously they're horror fans. They're at Spooky Empire, right? So
awesome.
This is just one of the 5 bags of goodie bags that I have for people. So I've made keychains, I've made earrings. I'm like, I didn't know I was so thrifty, but apparently, I guess it's good to try new things and do new things. So I had fun doing it.
Yeah.
So cool.
So cool.
I love that. Sometimes that crafty bug just gets you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, now I know, how to, save on presents and gifts for people, so.
Exactly.
So I've been doing that and prepping my outfit. So day one, I'm going to be Sexy Grabber.
I was like,
If you want to know what that looks like, you'll just have to come see, or I'll be posting on socials. And the next day, Saturday, I will be Sexy Freddy. And then Sunday, I will be Elvira, which is just reeks sexiness. So,
Yes.
yeah. And I'm so excited that Lloyd Kaufman of Trauma is going to be signing and doing pictures for free. That to me is just so awesome because it takes a lot of money to go out and get out there. And I have this Toxie box here, and it has quite the story because Toxie literally took a bullet for me. You can see right there. There's a bullet hole, and it goes through to the other side. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Long story short, dickhead boyfriend, ex-boyfriend, was playing with a gun, showing it off, and I was taught growing up, you don't point guns at people, even loaded, not, whatever, you just don't. And he kept playing with me and pointing it at me, so we fought over it, and it went off, and yeah, so Toxie convinced me that it was time for him to get the fuck out. So restraining order, and yeah, he's done. He's out of my life forever, thank God. But yeah, and all the movies are intact.
Yeah, okay. Speaking of signs, yep, there you go.
Ooh.
Oh,
yikes! I am so glad that you got out of that situation. And I'm really glad that you have a cool story to go along with it.
Yes.
But oof, yikes, that is scary. Yeah. But so glad that you're here today. all the love, my friend.
I hate to hear that story, but I'm glad you're telling it. So,
yes.
Yep.
Exactly. As opposed to not being able to tell it for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And now you can get an autograph, and it'll have a. It's a survival. Like all horror movies, like all horror things, it's all about survivability, and that's a good homage to survivability in horror.
And the more I learn about the horror community, the more I learn that people that really thrive to horror and kind of hang out in those dark corners have really been through some true life horror and just know how to kind of turn it around and make light of it. My therapist is always, your sense of humor has saved your life, girl. I'm like, yeah, I know.
Kat, you are a final girl.
There you go.
Kat, I also love your shirt. That's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah.
Oh, I love you for your brains. Oh my God, yes. So, we are so excited to talk about compression. We do have a little teaser for you guys, just so you can get a little taste, and maybe it'll entice all of you wonderful people that are listening and watching to come out and maybe circuit. I know you said there's a potential deal for something, so we'll be able to catch it in the near future. But I want to definitely show you guys, so that way you guys have a good sense of, you know, what's gonna be happening. Here it goes.
So you stay here.
Yes.
Inside.
Yes.
Where it's safe.
Yes.
But how can you be really sure that it's safe?
What? What am I afraid of?
Yes.
Everything.
Oh, thank you so much for that teaser.
Thank you for showing it.
Yeah, thank you.
What I loved in particular about this teaser, it didn't give out too much. Like in some movie trailers, they get all the kills and all the really good stuff, and when you watch it, you're like, oh, all the cool shit was in the trailer, and then you're not really super satisfied. This left you with enough to like hook you like a little fish, and the movie's just gonna do the rest of the reeling. So I love that.
Thank you. That's also I the cutting the trailers. I love making trailers, but it's always like that thought process is so difficult. It's like how much to put in, how much not to show. I've been cutting like a new trailer, or I had recently. It's not out yet, but I was sort of like revisiting that of like, okay, how much do we show, how much do we not? And it's been out for a little while, so be less precious about it. But yeah, it's always hard to decide how much do you show to hook versus let the movie do the talking. It's kind of stressful sometimes, but that's part of the fun.
Yeah, I can see that. You don't want to give too much to your audience, so when they watch it, they're not surprised by it. They're like, "Oh, it was in the trailer."
Yeah.
But you don't want to underdo it too much to where the people are like, doesn't look interesting either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You want to do enough. So how did you come up with this idea for compression?
Am I starting this? Okay.
This is you and Peter, so like, yes, this is your story.
It's us, but okay.
Yeah.
So compression started. This is our pandemic project initially. My producing and writing partner Peter Matsoukas and I had been looking for something to work on together for a while. I was a colorist on his earlier feature No Place, and we had just finished working on that. And then after we turned in the deliverables for that project, jumped on the phone. He's like, hey, I have this idea. Read these pages and let's talk about it. And he sent me like maybe within 20 pages ish of like scenes and, you know, some character thoughts and like, okay, well, the story could go here. But it was like this rough concept about this podcaster who was an agoraphobe that, you know, decided that she was going to take drugs and stay in. And at first it was much more like a Mandy level, there's stuff in the house, home invasion, kind of like just a little more of like just like a straight like tension release horror film. And so like he pitched me the idea. I really, really liked it. Initially, I thought he was pitching me like a film that he wanted to make. And so like I came back with all these notes of like, I think this is a really good playground and, you know, like a good opportunity to play with like, you know, all these sequences of suspense and color and experimental. And I love it. And what do you want to do? And he's like, well, I think that you should write it and I should produce it. And, you know, like we write this together and you direct. And I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't realize you were coming at me with a project. Like, do you want to do this thing? I'm like, yeah, I'm all about it. I was actually kind of just trying to think of how I could contribute if you wanted to do that, but I would love to play with this. So we had a couple conversations about loose ideas, and then it was like, go play. So I sat down and was writing and really kind of liking where it was going. Like the skeleton of the movie, as you see, was still there, but it was just a lot more people may or may be in the house. Is she losing her mind? And honestly, never really solidified what the trauma was at that point that would have triggered her to become an agoraphobe. So in writing the script, that went through most of 2020, as you know, we were all home and shut down. And then in September, we hit a bit of a life hiccup. Our kitten, Egret, she was 1 year old and she suddenly got real sick and passed. And so I found, well, we both were, but I was in a pretty heavy depressive episode and I couldn't work on anything. So after a stretch of literally feeling like Hazel is in the middle of the movie, I came back and sat down and looked at the pages again and realized that what I wasn't writing but wanted to write was a horror film about grief and loss. So I kind of feel like we had a movie that just had a lot of adrenaline, but it had no heart. That gave it the heart. So it sort of started to transform into this story about pain and loss and rebirth and healing and kind of about the artistic process. I hadn't made a feature personally in a decade, and I kind of wanted it to be about deciding to do again, to live again. So yeah, we put a lot of just like everything that we were going through into that. Did this thing totally backwards, like made the movie and then I started going to therapy for the first time. Opposite order, but you know, hey, we learn. Yeah, it kind of became the the thing to focus on, to process, the reason to get out of bed, the reason to keep moving. And and so that's sort of how it came about, I guess. Did I miss anything? You've heard me tell this. We've told the story a bunch. Did I skip anything?
I think that's
Yeah,
pretty well.
that's kind of the gist.
There's so much of us in it. There are some phrases and some lines that were actually spoken in our apartment here.
Yeah.
Such as,
you can share. I don't mind. Yeah.
Do you want a glass with that? It comes in a glass, in reference to a wine bottle.
That was an actual interaction. I got out of bed one time and she kind of jokingly made a comment. I'm like, it comes in a glass. And then as soon as I said it, I was like, I should write that down. I was kind of emo, but I was like, that's going in a movie. So
it was definitely like, what can we do with these larger than life feelings that we are having going through this? And that, coupled with the isolation and the pandemic, like we had to take Iggy to a vet 2 hours away, like emergency or hospital vet. So, and we couldn't go in with her. So it was just a waiting. And so that was, there's walking that back. There's just a lot of our hearts and souls in it. And I think it turns out we found a way to turn our pain into something that other people can relate to, which is all we want to do with our art, is to find a way to connect with people and maybe express the human condition or in some way that is effective for others.
Hopefully find some sort of catharsis and maybe entertainment along the way.
I love that. And Jacob, you talk of, going to therapy and going about it backwards. There's no wrong way, right? As whatever gets you there, right, is fine. And for some people, film is therapy. I mean, that's really how I started therapy, through music and film, through Radiohead, things like that is what kind of helped me. Whatever can help someone is therapeutic, therefore is therapy. So, if you have to sit down and talk to a stuffed animal, that, hey, whatever works best for you. If you have to smash some shit in a smash room, that's a lot of fun. So, just as long as, I think the main issue is understanding that therapy is health. Mental health is health. It's always seen as something outside of the doctors and things like, no, it's just another part of your health. It's what we all need to survive in any world.
Exactly. And like, I first off, I super appreciate that. Thank you. Part of that was me being a little jokingly self-deprecating. Like I actually get a kick. I love that meme where they're like, guys will literally do anything but except go to therapy. And it's just like, oh, I'm just watching this movie over and over. And I was like, I kind of became that meme for a second there. But look, all joking aside, it really was like, because it was pulled from such personal, rough stuff. And as we were like making it, it was hard for that to not be at least somewhere on, floating in the waters and in the surface. It's like, I am grateful that I've been going to therapy since making this film, because I feel, hopefully, I guess we'll find out, a little more equipped on the next one, because this was a hard film to make without coping mechanisms and grounding techniques like set in place. It sort of was like, throw yourself into the work. And like, there's a less masochistic way to do that artistically. And that's, I guess, kind of, I feel like this was a bit of a,
get lost in it, right?
Yeah. Like we learned hopefully how to handle this a little differently going forward, because it is murky waters to walk through.
And we were so lucky to be able to surround ourselves with a crew and a cast of friends who are super talented, are super hardworking, but also just brought the good vibes to the set. And everybody was there because they were passionate about the project and were so supportive of us. Like, I know there several days on set where I'm just crying all day, and I'm like,
literally,
guys, I gotta go and take a break in this Airbnb. So that was Mo. He wanted to say
I was just gonna ask.
Great sometimes.
Yeah, you might see an Aria too, but she might scooch around.
They're cats. They do what they want.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
the boss.
Yeah, it's their house. We just live there.
Yeah.
As I know.
That's one thing about cats. They domesticated themselves. I don't know if you guys were familiar. We domesticated dogs. Cats just decided, hey, those stupid humans are gonna feed us if we do this, and they just domesticated themselves. So fun fact.
We are trainable apparently.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, Jacob, because back in 2014 I lost everything. I had an apartment fire, and instead of going to therapy, what did I do? I spent all summer watching Lord of the Rings on repeat.
Sometimes that is the therapy you need, though. Like, what a great
whatever gives you that
franchise
dopamine
that-
drip.
yes.
Yep, no.
And immersing myself. Ooh, what about Lothlorien? What about this? What about that? What about Isildur? What happened to this? What happened to that? Oh, what about the race of people, the race of men that Aragorn was a part of, and and then it like I got so immersed into all of the world Tolkien made that it helped me not think about the horrors that I had to live through of the apartment burning and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So like it's so interesting that you mentioned that, because like I don't know if a real therapist would have helped me. They would have just been like, yeah, do this and X, Y, and Z, but I don't know. I don't think I would have done it any other way, because like I did immerse myself into another world in a way, and I started doing Lord of the Rings cosplay, and I started going to I don't know if you guys have heard of the OneRing.net.
Oh yeah.
They're
We're
they
nerds.
put they put up like they used to. I don't know if they do it anymore since the pandemic, but they used to do like meet and greets on Bilbo's birthday, and they used to do them at Griffith Park in LA.
Okay.
So every September they throw it on for Bilbo's Bash, and I'd go every year, cosplay and all. It was really good time. So that definitely helped. So I think art has such a way of like helping people, maybe not fixing people 1,000%, but definitely helping people fill in the gaps where other things may not.
Oh no,
do.
that's 100% the power of art. Like okay, like not to get like sad and emo and on a tangent here, but I was that person. Like I'm obsessed. I was obsessed, still am, with David Lynch, and I've not been okay since his passing. I know everyone has that celebrity death that hits, and it's like that idea of, well, why are you didn't know them? Why are you sad? And I love that quote. It's like we don't cry when we lose an artist, when an artist passes that whose work spoke to us because we knew them. We are crying because they helped us know ourselves. And that's like every like band, song, film, painting, anything you've seen that's inspired you, that's connected to you, that you're like, that I identify, that speaks to me. And that's kind of why we do what we do, I think, as storytellers. So like you're 100% right. Like I firmly believe in the power of art to like save, like as much as it is like, oh, it's people putting on costumes and playing and putting up lights and making this silly little movie. I'm like, there's literally like films in that runtime bracket of whatever Who Made It Win. It's like that. I could argue that saved my life at one point. That got me through like a phase or a stretch. Insert band or whatever.
I was gonna say I can cite the bands that helped me get through some shitty times in high school.
Yeah.
And one of them is My Chemical Romance, and I love them so much. And
that new 3 Cheers remaster is insane, by the way. Anyway,
if you guys are emo girls like me, but we got to see them in concert in Denver in 2022, which our tickets were for 2020. The thing happened. Got delayed, and when we were finally there, like just the feeling of connection to these people all around me who are there for the same reason, to see
shared
this
experience,
band, like it makes you feel like you're part of something larger than yourself, and if it is in that like lens of music or movie, and like someone maybe could say, oh, you dove into the lore of Lord of the Rings to get away from the world, but it actually brought you out to see people in the world, and it gave you purpose in that time.
Reconnect,
just it just so it's what reminds us of our humanity, and it's like that thing, like, oh, I believe in humanity again, or like this made me have faith in humanity again. Those memes and
well, and then what is that? My other favorite saying: art should comfort the disturbed and disturb the comfortable. I'm very disturbed. Art comforts me. Let me try that again. I'm very disturbed. Art comforts me. That came out weird, but yeah.
not that weird.
Oh.
It's live. You have to repeat it. It's fine.
It's funny that you mentioned the emo thing because I've been like super dying to see My Chemical Romance. They're coming into town, but they're like a gajillion dollars nowadays, and I'm just like, I can't afford them. Wish
Oh
I
no, we're still broke from that 2022 concert. I get it. Yeah.
And they're doing the Black Parade in full.
Oh, I
Like,
know.
Just how cool would that be? If you haven't listened to the remaster of Three Cheers is on Spotify now.
Yeah.
It is like listening to a new album again. It has been so cool. Like it's been on repeat. It's been on repeat for me.
Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan. I listened to them in middle school and high school, and it's one of those bands that kind of has never left me since then. And I'm sad that I didn't see them in Warped Tour when there was only like what $30 to get in. And now it's like, fuck, I gotta come up with $500. I'm like, Klarna, maybe buy now, pay later kind of thing. I'm gonna have to finance or just something to be able to see them, but I don't know.
It's so funny. I was talking about like emo, like when you're got through years back in the day. Like I always liked it, but like I really got into that stuff. Like at this point in my life, I just got into Fall Out Boy. Like I'm like I realize that's an old thing, but I'm like, oh yeah, this is working for me now. I relate to that stuff later in life. I don't know why.
And they're so good.
Yeah.
Like we saw them. This makes it sound like we're like
this has nothing to do with the movie.
We're like super rich, like concert bounty. But a friend of ours just happened to have extra tickets to go see Fall Out Boy up in Indianapolis. And what is it, Deer Park, or what is it called now?
Yeah,
it doesn't matter. It's an outdoor arena that like naturally slopes down to a stage. And there was like a severe thunderstorm that happened too, and people were going for cover, and we're like, we're gonna get a little.
Yeah. It's just a little water. It's a little water, a little mud, whatever.
So it's all good.
This what Compression's just an emo song. It's angsty. It's emotional. It's yeah.
Good segue. Good job bringing us back.
Yeah.
And I love that you said that you're still paying it off. That's like me and my husband with our Metallica tickets. That was our group in high school. So I'm aging myself a little bit. But
oh no, hang on. You're talking about Metallica. We're about to go on a whole other detour now. I was like, Summer Sanitarium 2003. Let's talk. Okay.
Nice.
So what I'm interested though in finding out though is the soundtrack for Compression, kind of segueing back into Compression, but with the music element. How, like when you're creating movies and features or shorts, or how do you know what music to put for what? Like, do you get help with that? Do you do that on your own, or?
Well, okay, actually, no, that's a really good question. I guess to clarify, are you talking about all, or are you talking more about the score or like the soundtrack, like the bands?
The needle drops.
Any of it.
Okay, yeah. Well, then that's kind of like two-parted. So the original score was done by C.J. Johnson, who this is my first time collaborating with him, but like
he's amazing.
Listened to some of his scores online when I put a call out that I was we were needing a composer for the film. He had composed music for a friend / acquaintance's film that I knew from a previous project that I hadn't talked to in a really long time, that said, hey, tagged on Facebook, you should talk to this guy. Long story short, start talking to CJ. We hit it off. He jumps on, does the score, knocks it out of the park and then some. I adore the score to this movie. But for that process, it was I kind of wanted some music to play with. This was actually different. I normally wait until we have picture lock and then I send something off and then it gets scored. The edit was a little amorphous as we were doing this. It was more experimental. So I kind of wanted some music to edit too. So he read the script. I sent him rough cuts of scenes and let him look at tonal stretches of here's a rough cut of this reel. And he would just give me stretches. I'm like, I need like 5 minutes of this tone, 3 minutes of this. And so he started doing samples and stuff. And then we kind of started laying tracks in and then refining it down. And then he would fine tune it when we had the picture lock. So it was sort of a different process there. It worked really well for this film. I think we were kind of figuring out how to work together, but like worked perfectly for this one.
Yeah.
So like, but those were the logistics of it.
That's really smart to stick with the visceralness of the film by working with the music. That's great.
Yeah, and honestly, him giving me some of that changed how I cut some of the scenes, especially the drug trip stuff. Because I told him, I was like, it says in the script, the drugs kick in, she freaks out, and this is going to be a few minute sequence. Like, so I was like, I wanted it to be like there's a 2-minute scene of her when the shrooms kick in and she's touching the walls and like, ooh, and everything. That originally was like 15 minutes of just play over here. I did like a super cut that no one but me ever gets to watch. And it's just, and then we just,
watch it.
well, yeah, the producing team. But we whittled it down and so like, like the sort of like, hey, let's trim that part, loop this part. Like we sort of like adjusted the score in real time as we went. It was really cool. Like I love that. But and I love that he was down for that because I was like, this could drive some people nuts, but can we do it this way? And he's like, yeah, totally. So the bands though, those are all friends of ours. I knew that I wanted a lot of like parts where music was going to be important for Hazel. She'd be like playing a lot of records on her record player, and so she always have music filling the space. Or, there'd be something playing in the background at someone's house. So like I knew I wanted to showcase a lot of musicians that are friends of ours that were, so like they're all local. I think, they're all Indiana bands, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it's all like local bands that are friends of ours that I'm like, you all need to have the songs in the movie. I hope the movie does well because they're very talented. And yeah, so like it really is just sort of putting all the people we know that we want to showcase like in a room together.
I
that
think
was cool.
that my favorite song to movie pick
you should talk about this one
that you made was the final song that leads us into the credits, which is called Roach Hockey by our friend. It's the band is Swamp Eyes, and it's our friend Sam Cuban's band. And I actually got to sing on this track. He wrote it about his daughter who had been diagnosed with I can't remember which type because my brain is bad, diabetes, and he was having all these big feelings, and he's like, everything is loud and I want to write about it. So I was so happy to lend my voice to the chorus of that. And then Jake was on his way to therapy one day, in the midst of editing, and traffic is terrible and he doesn't make it in time. And
anxiety rising the whole time. I'm stuck in a traffic jam, can't get to therapy. I'm losing my mind.
I think, do you remember the rest of it? Because
yeah.
That's kind of where my memory.
Oh no, I just didn't want to interrupt you.
No, go ahead.
So like I'm by myself driving across town to therapy, traffic jam. I'm listening to that song because I'd been like, while I was editing, I was listening to like, I got the score, put the files on so I could listen to like upload them on Dropbox. And I was just listening to them like in the car. I was listening to all the songs from the bands and I was just like trying to figure out like re-editing in my head. And so I realized that I'm not going to make it to therapy. And I'm having like the opening scene of Office Space panic attack, just wanting to get out of the car and walk home kind of a deal. And it got to that part of the song that peaks where it's like everything's loud and it just screams. And it very much like landed with the feeling at that moment. And I thought, well, I got to turn around and go back home. The idea was always to have that song come up when the credits like started, like that song would start. There was going to be score, tag out, that song came up at the credits. And that's when I got that idea and that panic attack of, fuck it, what if I went home and just recut everything at the last 5 minutes to the song and then that swell hits on the credits. So I went back and re-edited the whole last several minutes, dropped that song on there and timed everything. So it kind of like felt like it went with the beats, like the shots where she grabs everything kind of goes with like a guitar strum. And I'm really picky about that. And it made it better. So like, honestly, missing therapy and having a panic attack helped me crack an edit for the ending of the movie that I like better than the original idea. So yeah.
Ooh.
Nice. Not about the panic attack part. I know those are terrible.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah.
It bore fruit. So that's
we could have a whole like different podcast about mental health and and panic attacks. Kat had to help me in the airport as right before my flight, I had a really bad panic attack a few years ago, and I was on my way to go see my mom from Tampa Airport all the way to LA. So, woo, that was a little rough.
Yeah.
But it's no joke. But Chris said James Gunn works like that. Starts with the list of songs and writes them with them in mind. So that's
Yes.
interesting.
I actually, like, honestly, in addition to that, I think Gunn does this too, like what he's talking about. I always do playlists. Like whenever I'm writing, like I have a playlist for the next script I'm writing right now. It'll change when I'm editing, but I always keep like a running playlist for a project from writing through editing. And it's just sort of like a vibe mixtape of, I got real excited, honestly, on that vein. In addition to Gunn, like, okay, so we're obsessed with Sinners. That's like our favorite movie of the year. And then I saw like Ryan Coogler put on, in addition to the soundtrack and the score, there's like a whole playlist on Spotify of like the inspo list of the songs. And I was like, oh, I love that he made that public, because I think a lot of storytellers do that. But yeah, no, music and playlists is huge for me.
Yeah.
And Tarantino pulls out a bunch of records and just does that. Like, I don't know, maybe that is normal.
I believe James Cameron does that as well. When he was working on Jaws and Terminator, he had 2 different desks, and he would play different music for different ones. Well, he was working on Jaws too, my bad. And different music for different ones to kind of get him in the mood. Oh, my bad. It was Rambo 2 and Jaws. Those were the 2 that he was working on.
Nice.
Am I getting all mixed up?
We need very different like track vibes for each of those, for sure. I get that. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But speaking of you guys' work as Cinefreak Studios, I checked out Drinks. That was you definitely know how to build tension. I tell you that was just all tension.
That one was so much fun. That was just me and like my best friend David Bennell and DP Bennell and Emily. Like the 3 of us just.
It was just us.
It was the 3 of us. There was no crew. Like we were the 3 actors and we were the entire crew. Like we just were in a room and we wrote the thing. We filmed the whole thing in a night. It was just can we play and hang out? So thank you for mentioning that one.
There was a part of the night that I had to leave too, and they still had their scenes together.
Oh yeah,
so
you were only there for like a little bit.
Set the shot up, and record. Hopefully it stays in focus, and then went. And I think it turned out really fun.
David and I were like,
all in one night. Yep. All in one night.
That filmed in an art gallery or something. I thought it was a really beautiful room.
Yeah, that's it's an old. That's the old space, right? Yeah.
The Arts Council
in Southern
area was in that space and let us use it for free.
Yeah,
we got to use it for free, which was awesome.
Yeah,
and we kind of just utilized the space in that way.
And it's cool because they're not. It doesn't look like that anymore, so it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, that set and that just kind of works for that. I like that. Because I always like that space. I directed a play there.
Yeah, they moved to another building. So, yeah, it's kind of like a time capsule.
And I love how you bring things in and out of focus so smoothly. Like when they're sliding the drink in the glass, I was just like, ooh, that's so smooth.
Yeah, that's DP. Like, yeah, I shot compression. DP shot drinks. So yeah, that was all his talent. I got to give that credit for sure.
Aw, that's super kick-ass. Aliens, not Rambo. Good.
Thank you, Chris. I was like, Kat, I was like, I know where you're going, but I don't think it's Rambo. There it is.
Yeah.
I appreciate a cinephile in the chat.
Thanks, he helps me out.
Yeah,
when I get my brain fart.
we need like sometimes that the good audience members that can reel it in. There we go again. Fish with that fishing with the fishing analogies there. It's just there's just so many movies. There's just so much happening out in the cinema world that sometimes, especially after a long day of work or after a long day of filming or whatever the case may be, it's like, what was that one movie? and it's nice to have somebody with a fresh set of brain to be able to help you.
Yes,
See,
for
you're
sure.
doing much better than I am today. Kat, because I don't like my brain is and I also have not seen a lot of movies, so
Well, we have a whole podcast about that.
yeah, we do. We need
Yeah.
to pick that back up again.
We started over the pandemic, but then we started a podcast called Feels Like the First Time because the joke was every movie she's like, I haven't seen that. I'm like, how have you not seen that? Like over the pandemic, she saw Jurassic Park for the first time. I was like, okay, we need to do a show.
Nice.
So it's like actor who hasn't seen a bunch, filmmaker who's seen too much. And it's like you never get that first viewing back.
Didn't it bring out the 12-year-old boy in you, Jurassic Park? You're just like, yes.
I was like, dinosaurs.
Yeah, our first episode, we had to start the yeah.
Oh, yeah. I have that same thing in common.
Yeah.
I have that same thing in common with Emily. I was very sheltered as a young girl. So it wasn't until I hit about 18 and started going to college that I started getting exposed to some movies. But there's just so many movies out there that it's just hard to catch them all.
Yeah.
But I saw for my first time recently, I saw not Critters. Oh my God. The one with it's a Christmas movie. And
Gremlins?
yes, Gremlins.
Oh yeah.
I've seen that for the first time this year for Christmas.
Have you seen the
We have an
second one
episode
yet?
on it because I haven't seen it until whatever year. It was.
Now you got to see Gremlins 2.
Oh, okay.
Yes. You need to see it with me.
That's where it's at.
We'll stream it.
Yes, I gotta get a live react. Yeah, there's a bunch of movies that I haven't seen, so it'll be fun to be able to experience it as a first timer. Not only as a first timer, but I'm not. I'm now into my older adult years, so it's not like a teen seeing it for the first time. I've had life experience, unfortunately, so I can look at it objectively from the adult mindset rather than a juvenile point of view.
When you watch Gremlins 2, if I may request a favor, as soon as you are done, jump on YouTube and watch the Key and Peele skit about pitching for Gremlins 2.
Okay.
Do not watch it before. It will set up the wrong expectations. But trust me, if you've seen the movie, that is one of the best comedy sketches you'll ever see in your life.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will make note of that. You said it was what was the name of it?
Key and Peele, like that show. I don't know what the skit's called, but it's the one. I think if you just do Key and Peele Gremlins 2 pitch, maybe something would come up. He says,
I'll hunt it down. I'll make sure we watch it after.
Yeah. Okay.
So
it's low stakes. If you don't, it's okay. It's just very funny.
Okay, I think I see it. Key and Peele Gremlins 2 Brainstorm
Uncensored. That's the thing. Just bookmark that for later.
No,
I'll bookmark that.
No.
Yeah.
I found it, so I will bookmark it, and as soon as I finish watching that, I will go up there and I'll message you, be like, "Hey, I did the thing."
So you guys, did you go to any sort of formal schooling, or where did you learn how to do all these awesome things that you do?
Oh, do you want to start?
No, you start.
I did. I ping pong college. I went to Murray State in Kentucky for a little bit, and then I graduated from IU in Bloomington. I did learn film there. My major was communication and culture with an emphasis on film. But to be honest, no disrespect to my academic educational institutions to which I owed money, a lot of it was experience and self-taught, or just crewing and working with people. I'm a person that I can listen to you how to do it, I can watch a tutorial, and I can read about it and whatever, but until I get my hands dirty and do it and break it, mess up, and learn from my mistakes, I'm never going to learn it. So like I did the thing where I just went out and made movies with my friends. Like, hey, y'all are gonna, instead of hang out tonight, we're just gonna stand here and say these words and do these things. And then they're like, oh, cool, we made a movie. And that was sort of my film school. Was I'd make movies that no one can see with my friends and be like, well, that didn't work, let's try another one. And eventually you get to the point you're like, I think I want to show this one to people. So it was a mixture of education and just crewing with a lot of people and figuring things out. I remember there was one I hope my mom will not hear I tell this story. I think it makes her sound cool. But there was one semester where I didn't really crack a lot of the books in college. Like I was more of a take notes and lecture, like, cause I'm a slow reader, I'll be honest. So like there was one semester I was like, what if we just didn't get the textbooks? And my mom was like, okay. I was like, can we take that money and I get a camera and I make a movie? Okay, you better take a lot of notes in class. Like, okay. So we did that. And then I got my friends together and made a thing, and I call that my film school while I happened to be going to school. It was more like the side projects on the weekends with the friends not sleeping. And yeah, so yeah, I don't know. Like the formal training really came more from just like experience working on other people's bigger sets that were doing it more right and learning from that after a while. But yeah, it was running. I was that cliche filmmaker that was running around making movies with their friends in high school and college until the system worked out. So
yeah, and for me, I've been acting since I was little, but just in school plays and things like that. But it really felt more like, or less like a fun thing that I did and more like a calling or a passion. I'm like, man, I've got to be doing this. I don't know what else I could do if I couldn't do this. So I did go to the University of Southern Indiana for my theater arts undergrad degree, emphasis in acting. And I also did some stage management in there. And having that experience really helped me translate to production work on set, like making schedules, and also like I've been an AD a few times for some film shoots, which I really enjoy.
I remember the first time you were like recommended for an AD and it was like, you're like, I don't know how to do that. And it's like, yeah, you do. It's the same thing you do on stage.
It's like, go figure it out. And it's like, okay. So I'm like on the job. Yeah, I know how to do this. Google. Okay, yes, I do know how to do this. Okay, yeah.
You had enough of a base, but yeah, you weren't winging it. You knew what you were doing.
My theater background, then I have to give a lot of credit to that that helped translate to film, and then I continued on in acting on stage and all that fun stuff. So yeah.
Thank you. And how long did it take to film Compression? I know you started writing it in 2020 during the pandemic. Like how long did you shoot and how long did you spend editing?
Good question. Well, we started shooting in December of 2021. The principal photography shoot was an 11-day stretch. Mm-hmm. Yeah, 11 days at the Airbnb. And then I went right into editing that at the beginning of 2022. Mm-hmm. Well, not right, because actually I was actually directing a play at the top of 2022. So I editing kind of ramped up more in spring once that and then
we had filmed some pickups the summer before that.
That's what it was. I was trying to, sorry, like it's weird time. I'm like, was that before or after? So we had some pickups that we had done some of the flashback stuff like in November before we shot in December. And then we did some like the wood, summer, like the woods kill stuff at the end, like the, and in the woods and like a lot of the summary flashback stuff we did like in summer of 2022. So we had some pickups for season changes throughout 2022 while we were editing. Editing went through 2022 and 2023 because it went a little bit slower because we were actually crewing on a bunch of stuff. In the middle of editing Compression, we produced and I DP'd and colored 2 other features for 2 other directors and 2 short films. And you directed a play and I directed a play. Yeah, so
we were a little busy.
It wasn't like, hey, the full-time thing is just edit the movie. It was sort of, that's why it wasn't like
that actually brings me into my next question. Yeah. I believe I know what a colorist does, but if you can explain it a little more.
Sure. Actually, yeah. So I really love color grading. Of all the hats that I wear because I do a lot of it. I could offload some of them, but I love color grading. That's like one of my happy places. When we shoot the movie, we shot the movie in S-Log3. It was a Sony cameras, and the image comes out very flat, like very little saturation, low contrast, like, you know, everything is just kind of like bright and light, and like, you know, imagine if you turn the contrast all the way down on an image and it's just like real kind of faded. When you go in and you color grade that, you sort of create the look like you're used to seeing in the movie. You sort of like, you color correct it to what are correct tones, but then you create the look and the style of the movie. Like, you know, when you watch a Matrix or a Insert whatever, and it has like, you know, oh, the green tint, or it's not just all that, but it's like creating that look. Like, you know, when you go see a summer blockbuster like a Transformer, you get that heavy teal orange look, you know, and you go somewhere in like, you know, Nosferatu, you get that like heavy desaturated, like deep
grays.
gray, like, you know, like the life and the red has been drained, like that. Which is cool because it makes the orange pop. Again, color theory. But like it's just sort of like creating like the stylistic look of like, you know, what the colors in the image will look like. You plan for that when you shoot, but it's sort of like finalized in post. If you want to see an example, I actually could find it and send it to you, but on my Instagram page, I will probably have to send it to you after. There's actually a really good comparison. I have the trailer with a side-by-side that has the uncolor graded version on top, and then the color graded. So you get to see the trailer that you played like what it looked like before and after the color grade.
Yeah.
Sort of
Neat.
and maybe
Luna, if you can look up their
No, it's like, I'm better
store
at-
for me
Oh, sorry.
while we're finishing up.
They're what? I'm sorry. Come again?
Their official store of their merch, because there's a lot of cool stuff on it.
Oh,
And I
we're
wanted to ask,
completely
how did
revamping
you
it right
guys come up with your logo with the kitty? Is that the kitty that you lost?
No, thankfully that is Aria. That is she's the,
Aw.
yeah. Go find, you can go
I'm
find
gonna
Aria.
go find
That's
her.
Aria Domino Dahlia Belinsky Dirkholz. Dirkholz Belinsky is her full name. Yeah, no, that was just a picture of her as a kid when she was yawning, and we made that our Halloween variant logo. So
I love that. I
the main
need to
logo
put
is
that on like everything.
the main logo is the skull, but I was like, oh, we got to do a Halloween one with the black cat. So she's like her little mascot.
I'm not sure. Do you have the
Yeah,
link?
if you go to their page, cinefreakfilmspictures.com, there should be a merch link.
We also are completely redesigning the website and the
did it change?
So new things coming. It works.
Store.
You set up.
Yeah, there you go, store. Yeah.
Relaunching it. So.
Okay, hang on.
She's okay.
Aw, the kitty.
Kitty, kitty.
All right, so
For the bedroom, it's fine.
So if you go to cinefreakpictures.com/store, you can go to their Teespring,
That's okay.
where it's not going to load here. Shoot. Yeah, but basically you can look at their series. Is it going to do it? Okay, yeah. The series, you can look at play some videos. They got a lot of cool stuff.
Things that we've done.
Yeah. There's some trailers, some promos here. Evansville Orchestra. Ooh.
Yeah, we do. We work with our local Philharmonic and some other local businesses and organizations.
That's cool.
And I don't think I've seen a thumbnail with so many festival wins. Like it covers everything.
Oh.
I'm like, dude, nice.
There's Wet Bulb.
Yeah, that's my friend Joe Atkinson's movie. That's one of the other ones that we shot last year. And Beelines, which Emily is in.
Yeah.
Peter.
I remember this one. Real cool time.
Yeah. It's our buddies Matt Packman and Lene.
Yeah, we actually had them on the show not too long ago. So they were fantastic.
She's gonna claw your face.
Aw, kitty. Wait, hang on.
She's like, I'm not to be seen.
So if you go to the store,
we definitely need a close up.
Yeah, bring her close. I know it's a little dark.
She's got her.
Yes, her cool flavors full on t-shirts, cups, anything you like.
She's our sweet baby. She's
Sorry,
like,
I had to get
Her eyes,
a
she's
zoomed
gonna
in.
dad the eyes. Like, why? Why are you doing
I know.
this?
There you go.
she is always, whenever Jake is editing in here long nights, she is in his lap, almost like hugging him. But
Yep.
she's gonna travel around.
Hey. Oh.
She's kind of like his little familiar.
She kind of is my familiar. Yeah.
Aww, that's that's so sweet. Yeah, I love the fuzzy critters. They're always a good
She wants
time.
to be near. She's gonna plant right here. So.
Yeah.
Aw. Well, thank you. Is there anything that you guys are working on that you can talk about for in the future?
Anybody you want to cite anything?
Well, we've got in addition to Real Cool Time, we worked on a second short with Matt Packman called The Ghosts That Want to Die, which is making its
Festivals now.
run. And then Wet Bulb Temperature is another one that we worked on, which is a feature.
It's just about to start its festival run. It's
Yeah.
just
Ooh.
started
and
getting
it's,
submitted.
it's kind of like a beginning of apocalyptic climate change, terrifying.
Yeah, like a
reality.
doomsday survival thriller horror kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh.
so that one was really fun to make.
Yeah.
And
Fun.
then,
Love to shoot. And Beelines, which you can get links to all those on our site. Peter Matsoukas, writing and producing partner for Compression. He wrote and directed that one. Emily is the lead. We produced, I shot and colored that one.
you can
That
watch
one's
on-
out on Prime. You can watch it on Tubi for free. That's
Ooh, Tubi, let's go.
so that one's out.
And then we're actually working on another feature with Peter Matsoukas. And
Yeah.
that is their
Fire Pit.
first week of filming this week, and then we're joining them in August.
So we're producing on that feature, which is shooting now, and then I'm writing. I don't have a title for it yet, but
Jake,
What?
your documentary too.
I should talk about
You
that.
should talk about that.
So yeah, okay. Two things. I'm working on a documentary that is called Damn Fine Coffee, and it is about the making of my friend Zach Parker's 16 millimeter short film Barista, which you
Which
can
is on
watch
YouTube.
online, and Emily Axon. So
Oh,
Great eye trauma.
yeah, it's
in
like
that.
it's like a 70s faux grindhouse trailer shot on 16 millimeter. It's a lot of fun. But so I did a making of about, it's kind of about the process of indie filmmaking and the process of shooting on film and how it's a dying art form. So I have a documentary about that I'm finishing that's coming out this year, actually maybe next month. And then I'm writing the next two. So cart before the horse, but I can talk vaguely about it. Compression kind of started the thing and came up with the idea of doing a trilogy, but it's not like a story trilogy. It's like a thematic trilogy. Like I think we're starting a grief trilogy is what I'm tentatively calling it. Think like Lars von Trier, like Antichrist, Melancholy, and Nymphomaniac. But people are like, what? And I'm like, think like Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and World's End. And people are like, oh, or like Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor, where it's kind of like, I want the same cast to come back, and it's like we're in different spots. It's sort of like, yeah. So I'm trying to create like a series of 3. I'm writing those right now.
interesting.
Yeah.
That's awesome. And people actually compare you to Mike Flanagan a lot, your work.
We worship Mike and Katie, so like I cannot advocate that we are spoken in the same breath, but I am honored, and that's amazing because they're amazing. I love them.
Aw. That sounds so amazing. Real quick before we head off, we have the Horror Slam sessions in the chat. Hello, thank you so much. Thank you so much for dropping by and saying hello. Kat, Emily, and Jacob, do you guys have anything that you want to sign off on? Anything you'd like to say before we wrap up?
Just make art with your friends, and it makes the horrors that we are persisting through a bit easier to bear. Just create or find a creator and be like, what are you working on and how can I help? Because that will feed your soul right now, especially in these times.
In that, I'll add on. If you are needing permission or you are struggling at all with does the art or the story I want to tell or the thing I want to do matter right now or make sense? The answer is yes. Do the thing, tell the story. You don't know that there's time later, so yeah, tell the thing that you can tell now. Like it's the most cliche advice. No one asked for it, but it's like, hey, what do you do? Just go make the thing, because Compression was like kind of like a community, our little community of like, let's all get on our feet and do this thing together. But it did take a village. So find your people and make your stuff, because the world needs stories and art's important.
I love that. I don't think we could have ended on a better note.
Yeah, that was really, really well said,
Thank you
Jacob.
guys so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Appreciate you.
Aw, well, that was it for Delight and Fright. Next week, let me look at our handy dandy calendar. I believe we have a collab. If not, we will have something definitely for you guys to treat. We're just kind of waiting for confirmations of other lovely individuals that are trying to work with us. So we just want to make sure our calendars align. If not, I think
And I'll be hard at work at Spooky Empire to see as many independent filmmakers as I can help out and see if they can join us.
Yeah,
Nice.
definitely. We'll have some definitely guest appearances from that. We always love to, meet with our local film people, and I hope that you guys have a lovely evening. Thank you so much for dropping by. I see you guys in the chat. Thank you so much for everything, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello, boils and ghouls. It's your old pal, John Kassir, the voice of the Crypt Keeper. And I want to thank you for listening to Delight and Fright with your hosts, Luna and Kat, a podcast for outcasts.